Okay, we are live. Welcome, everybody. It is May 19th, 2022. It is 13:12 hours. That's 1:12 p.m. for those that do not know. My name is Donovan Sadiq. I'm the Inland Empire Informer. As you guys know, also nationally known as the Recovering Democrat. Hope you guys are having a great day. It looked like there was an early overcast today, but it looks like it's pretty mild, not too hot. Nice cool winds out here in the desert of Moreno Valley, Riverside, California. The Inland Empire. I love it. It's where I'm from. Big ups. As you guys know, yesterday I had a case in regards to an incident that I was injured at, and I won those cases. And, just for clarity here, let's go back and visit that real quick so you guys can see that I am not lying. And here we go with the cases. All right. Let me blow that up for you guys so you guys can really see it versus seeing me. Okay, this is the case against me versus the Edgemont Women's Club. As you guys see, my judgment came out to approximately $450. Good job. I got it done. It did rule in my favor. I'm kind of confused as into the, we tried to mediate. We really did try to mediate the thing, but there was just no budging, and you really can't make people do what it is they really don't want to do. So I won in the judgment, and I got the mailing today as written. That was pretty quick. So that judge wanted to go to lunch really bad. He really wanted to go to lunch really bad. We tried to work it out among ourselves, and I'm not here to spike the ball, because I like to spike the ball. Don't get me wrong, but it's like it's a victory without a victory, because I kind of get sad because we're supposed to be grown-ups, and the younger people are looking at us and our behavior, and it's just not working. For some of us we never matured. As you guys know, here in the city of Moreno Valley, we have factions that go on, and these factions act like those popular groups in high school. And it's so sad. You're a friend of mine, I'm a friend of yours, and nothing gets done. And it's just terrible. It's just terrible the way I picture it. This is my win against Denise Fleming. Ms. Fleming was ordered to pay $325. So Ms. Fleming swore up and down that she would not pay a dime, nor will her club pay a dime. So I won, but it's really not a victory. And I'm going to kind of go in and kind of tell you guys why, in my opinion, it's really not a victory. Okay? Because it's not over. It's not over for me. I contacted my lawyer this morning, and I let him know yesterday that I had won the two cases. And if you're looking on this page, I just put up Ladonna Jimson's ruling, and the judge ruled that she owed nothing. She had nothing to do with the case, and basically ruled her out. So Ladonna Jimson was exonerated out of the case. Didn't lose it, but I didn't win it either. Okay. But I'm not here to spike the ball. For me, this thing is not over, because I talked to my lawyer, let him know that I won the case. And of course, I was served at the case for the civil harassment case. And I'm being sued for civil harassment by Denise Fleming, the very person that I sued and won yesterday. So Deborah Craig, everybody knows each other, hands me the thing, and it's just procedure. I'm not mad that she did that. That's procedure. Because at this point, during the TRO, and again, you guys, you got to really understand law. And I think law is fascinating. It is fascinating. The ins and outs and the loopholes and all this other stuff that people, that the law allows. Yeah, she has to serve me, and I had no problem taking it, because I had already ordered answered the court's order during the temporary TRO by having my lawyer stand in while I was out of country. So yeah, they had to give it to me, but I wasn't mad because I had already answered it, basically by having my lawyer show up during the temporary order hearing. The temporary order hearing was not granted, and so we have a court date coming up on the 31st. So for me, it's not over. This thing is not over. We did reach out to settle things with Miss Fleming in regards to the order. Now, let's just keep it real. Me and Miss Fleming maybe have talked, and we have maybe between the both of us, we've talked to each other, always in public, maybe 4 times. And I'm including yesterday because of mediation, 4 times. And in mediation, we both agreed we do not care for each other. We do not care for each other. It's just something some people just don't. We just don't mix. Okay. So we're trying to settle it. We're trying our best to do what's right in everybody's instance. And why I'm bringing this up is I just want to warn a lot of bloggers out there and people who do things for the community. You might run into what I'm running into now. I don't mind doing what I do and fighting for my rights and standing up for myself. I don't mind doing that, but you may have to deal with things like this. And so my advice to you would be to know basic law and what you can do as a photographer, what you can do as a blogger. I mean, these things are becoming expensive. Okay. It's becoming expensive. My attorney, it's becoming expensive. So, but the thing is though, I'm not an expert. See, and I'm smart enough to know I'm not an expert. I'm not going to go on my feelings. I don't know why I would be getting a harassment thing put on me if we've only spoken to each other in public maybe 3 or 4 times. But stuff like that happens. So for those bloggers out there and those people out there like Fred and Saul and Roy, people that have platforms better than mine, of course, be guarded because you're going to have a lot of people out there that are hell bent on shutting you down, closing you out. Raul, Deborah Craig, all you guys that have platforms. Litigation is right behind, and I'm not saying that I'm above the fray and whatever. I'm going through it right now, but the thing is, I happen to know I didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, and Shantae says, don't forget when she ran up on you at the ball, right? We've had a lot of incidences where we don't get along, but I'm not making this really about Miss Fleming. I'm not making this about Ladonna. The funny thing is, we were in the lobby and Ladonna and I are doing discovery, and she made her stance, which is fine. She says apologizing is a form of admission of guilt. Hey, who am I to say how she's supposed to think, right? So full speed ahead. But we were still able to act like adults. And this is what bothers me about what's happening here in America. You have people that are older than me. I just turned 52 years old. Okay. I just turned 52, May 9th. Okay. Just turned 52. You have people that are older than me that act like children. They act like children. I was just informed, for some reason, the negotiations that my attorney was engaged in with Ms. Fleming has been called off. And this happened yesterday. And, she has every right to do that if that's what she wants to do and, move forward. But at this point, she's going to have to prove her case of harassment. So for all you bloggers and all you people out there, I'm just telling you guys, know a good lawyer, lawyer up. God forbid if you ever have to use them, but know your rights, know, a little bit about basic law. Okay. Just a little bit about it. Thank goodness I have people that kind of advise me and give me good advice. A lot of people feel, and let me talk about the case a little bit yesterday. I can understand why Miss Fleming would be upset. Nobody wants to lose. I don't think Ladonna was upset too much because she didn't lose. She basically got exonerated. So the court, I guess, agreed that I was hurt and assaulted or whatever, and I needed to be compensated, and they compensated me accordingly. Nobody likes to lose, but that's what happened. And it's just, you have some people here that just can't believe that they're ever wrong. And it's just sad. And these people are older. And I wonder sometimes, is this the message we want our young people to do when it comes to situations that they may be in? As a recovering Democrat, am I always right? No, I'm not. I'm not always right. I'm not going to stand on something if it's something I don't believe. Thus, a lot of people do not understand why I am now supportive of the Bacas when I was so against them for so many years. But then let's turn that around and ask yourself, I was so supportive of Miss Jimson, and then now all of a sudden I'm on the other side. We need to ask ourselves why things like this occur. Is it because maybe Miss Jimson, a revelation came out about her? And I said this yesterday when I was talking to Ladonna, because I can understand her situation, and I think I'm a reasonable person. Ladonna's main issue with me is the fact that she doesn't like how I characterize her past affiliation with criminality. Okay. And you know what? I get it. I understand it, but your feelings isn't my problem, but I'm a reasonable guy. Okay. So I saw that it bothers her personally. It personally bothers her. Okay. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop doing that. Unless she starts doing stuff again like she pulled in October with Dave Marquez and Useless Kerberos. Then I'll bring it out. Okay? But in the meantime, I'm not going to do that anymore because I see personally it hurts her, it bothers her. Okay? So I'm not going to do that anymore. Okay? And all she had to do was call me or talk to me and say, Donovan, I need to talk to you about such and such, such. Hey, I'm a reasonable guy. I think I am. So I'm not going to do that anymore unless she gets involved in some more shenanigans. Okay. Is that fair? I think that's fair. Right. So I do want to thank all of the witnesses that came out. And unfortunately, I know a lot of you guys. I know a lot of you. I don't know what you were going to testify to. I mean, what, you're going to testify that I was there? You're going to testify that I was in the back of the room and draped in a American flag? I don't know what you're going to testify to, but I know that time is money. Time is money, and I want to apologize for the simple fact that you didn't even get a chance to even say what it is you came to say. Fred came, I only had my two, Daryl and Fred, but time is money. People have other things they could be doing. So I want to apologize to you guys that you guys were not utilized. And that's what I was saying. As adults, we could have solved this on our own. We didn't have to go to court. Just like I told Ladonna, all I needed was an apology. You knew I got hit at your event. Nobody contacted me. Nobody apologized to me. So what other recourse am I supposed to have? So let me just give you guys a little background now that the court case is over about what happened, okay? Now, for those of you guys that were witnesses, we were in the lobby. After me and Ladonna had our little discovery, hey, their discovery was what I had. We said what we had to say, and then we started talking about like trips and things and how things are in other countries and stuff like that. You know, like adults are supposed to do. We don't have to be on the same side, okay? I don't think I do things because I have a personal axe to grind with you people, because I don't rock with you people like that. I don't rock with most of you people like that. My agenda is Edgemont, and you guys don't live nowhere near Edgemont, okay? That's what I care about, and that's what I talk about most of the time, okay? So I don't have, I get it. You guys don't care about Edgemont because you don't live in Edgemont. I get it. I've been saying that for years. I'm on my own. I'm on my own out here. So we tried to work it out on our own. If you guys that were in the lobby, Jerry Mercado, Nina, Alicia Espinoza, I mean, you guys all know who was in the lobby. Denise talks to me in such a condescending way that, remember, everybody stopped and looked at like, what am I going to do? Okay. Now we're trying to work this out. And you guys remember, I got up and I went over there because I knew we weren't going to solve anything. Okay. Because I knew who I was dealing with. So I go over there and, you know, to show that I'm willing to come to the table and hear what they have to offer. Okay. So I go into the room, and immediately, Denise Fleming tells me I, Donovan Sadiq, owe her an apology. I'm shocked. I am shocked. You are asking me to come to the table to see what offer you're going to offer me, and you're telling me I owe you an apology. I am still wondering till this very day, what do I owe you an apology for? That I ever met you? That I ever know you? Ladonna Jimson was right there, okay? And we were in that room, and of course it wasn't closed door. I'm in a room with two women that I feel incurred my injury. Then she tells me she's going to countersue me. And I'm just shocked. I'm shocked because I didn't have to come to the table, but I did. I am shocked. I look at Ladonna and I say, this is your girl. What is this? What is going on here? This isn't mediation. I get threatened with a countersuit. This is no lie. And if you guys know Miss Fleming and how she rolls, this is her personality. I couldn't believe it. It was obvious we weren't going to make it. And so I go back out and we just wait. The real mediators come. We go into the mediator room there. It wasn't pretty there. She's calling me by my first name. We don't rock like that. And I kept complaining, you know, that's very disrespectful because I'm referring to her as Miss Fleming. And it was just a bad show all the way around. So then we finally get to go into court because it's obvious we're not going to make it in mediation. And it's sad because we should have. Like I told Ladonna, all I wanted was an apology from her, and that would have been enough for me. All of this could have been worked out. because I think I'm a reasonable person. We go into court and the witnesses have to stay outside. I don't know what that's about, but the witnesses have to stay outside. If you're a supporter, you could go inside. And I believe Jackie Jimson was there to support his wife. And I present my case. The judge was like, get to the meat and potatoes. He was like, get to the meat and potatoes. I basically tell him the story real quick because he wanted to go to lunch. And it's really sad because I do feel, I'm not saying their evidence would have beat me. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying you have all these witnesses here, at least let them have their say so they could go on their way. And I do feel that as an Americans and people who are in the court system, we should be allowed to present all of our evidence. I wasn't allowed to present all my evidence. They weren't allowed to present all of their evidence. Okay. But again, this isn't Matlock or Perry Mason. Okay. He wants to get through these cases, whatever. So like I said in my video on the day that yesterday when I won, he wanted to get to the point. He said, this is a case about an injury, personal injury case. Get to the personal injury. He didn't want to hear about how we feel about each other. He didn't want to hear about the preliminary. Now, me being the plaintiff, I got to give him a little backstory. You know, I told him what I did. I came in, whatever. Great. I told him about the Banach Act. He understood what the Banach Act is when I was talking about it because he nodded his head. He understood what the Banach Act is because it described what Denise Fleming and Ladonna Jimson and Donald Fleming were doing, a Banach Act violation. And if you're a blogger, you guys pay attention to this, especially Fred and Raul, all you guys that have cameras like me. Look up what a Banach Act is. Okay, a Banach Act is when somebody intentionally blocks your camera because what they're doing is they're denying you your First Amendment right. Okay. So if you're going to be doing that, that's very important. Now, somebody unintentionally stands in front of your camera. You ask them to move and they say, oh, I'm sorry. And they move out of your way. That's not a Banach Act violation. It has to be intentional. So by telling the judge Banach Act, he understood what her actions and what they were doing. That's my interpretation of it, right? So we get to it and he's like, get to the point, whatever. I want to see this and I want to see that. And I said, well, because I had all my videos and I told him, okay, right here. And I knew it was important to get Denise holding that flag. Okay. I knew it was important because in a small claims court, you need 51% preponderance of the evidence to win. Okay. And that's up to the judge. Okay. So when he said, get to the meat and potatoes, I knew right then and there, this is going to be short and sweet. He just wants the facts and nothing but the facts. So whatever they had to bring in, he wasn't going to listen to it unless it pertained to that particular small window of the video. Okay. So I show him where Denise was holding the flag and how, we were tussling and I was explaining we were tussling for quite a while. And he sees the flag fall, bam, boom. He never saw the flag actually hit me. And you know what? I don't think anybody ever did, but I know the flag hit me. Okay. And that's where I got my injury. But see, the preponderance of the evidence was it is more likely that Denise Fleming caused the flag to fall and hit me than it wasn't her. And the judge, and I'm paraphrasing all of this, the judge basically asked her because she was saying it wasn't her. She made a totally different narrative, like she caught the flag and put it back up and whatever, which it didn't really make sense because how did you catch the flag and yet it fell? But even if you did catch the flag and you're putting it back up, you didn't put it back up properly, so it still fell and it hit me. So by the preponderance of the evidence, it's more likely you were the cause of the flag falling than Ladonna Jimson, than Daryl Terrell, than anybody else. And I think that's the evidence he went off of. So, he let her put in a video of me on one of my shows and I'm talking about the money. It's about the money. I'm going to get paid, right? Which I was joking. And the judge told her, okay, it's about the money. Most cases are. So, where are you going with that? But I think what she was trying to say was, I was in it for a payday. That's not good. That's not good strategy. That's not good strategy. Like I said, I don't know a lot of stuff, but I did take aviation law and I did take basic law in college. And I also took a paralegal course in college as well to do research and stuff like that. And once I was done presenting my stuff, I stopped. He said, that's it. He went on to Miss Fleming, and she just was so combative with him. She just kept over talking him. She just kept cutting him off. And I was just like, wow, that's one thing you don't do in court. One thing you do in court is you keep your answers short, sweet, and to the point. So when he did ask me a few questions in reference to what she had presented, it was just no, yes. So he asked me, let me give you a good example. He asked me a question. Did I see the advertisements on Facebook? I was like, no. I said, no, I got word of the event by word of mouth. End of story. And if it wasn't for that video, I think it would have been very, very difficult for the judge to render the decision that he did. Video doesn't lie. I mean, it's a third eye. So if you're a blogger out there, I'm telling you, get a body camera as a backup to what you're doing, so that we can see everything that's going on versus your camera. Because the judge was kind of confused, because if Mr. Fleming, who was the security guard, is standing in front of my camera, and Ladonna and him are blocking my camera, he was confused at what all this motion was. And I said, well, I had a static camera, which was there to film the candidates directly. And then I had my cell phone camera to where the motion was going, because the event hadn't started yet. And then I was being tussled with by Miss Fleming at that time. So, I kind of had a feeling that I had won the case by the propensity of the evidence. And I'm not saying that it was a slam dunk. I'm not saying that, because a lot of evidence was not allowed. And I was kind of looking forward to hearing what their witnesses were going to say, because, these people are taking a chance on perjuring themselves. Now, my witnesses, Fred, I had already got his testimony on the night of. So I already had that on video ready to go. But Fred, who I know through the community, he wasn't there to say, oh, Donovan is this great guy, and oh yeah, they did this to him. Fred was basically going to say the exact same thing he said that night. And that was it. It wasn't like, hey, Donovan, what do you want me to say? No, he was just there. Look, I don't really know you like that. I'm just here to tell the truth. And that's it. And what I saw and what I, think. So, put it like this. And I appreciate him coming out. I really do. Him and Daryl. That video to me was all I really needed. Having the video was all I really needed to make my case. Having them there to corroborate the video was really what I wanted them there for, to corroborate the video. That's all. Because I truly believe the flag fell so fast that nobody saw it. Nobody really saw it hit me, because it fell so fast. So moving forward, we leave. I kind of have a feeling that I kind of won the case. Looking on Miss Fleming's face, she is livid. Okay. She is livid. Ladonna is exonerated, so she knows she ain't paying nothing. They wanted us to, let bygones be bygones. I was willing to do that, but there was really no reason to do that, because we don't hang out like that. But again, So I get word from my attorney that we were in negotiations to settle the harassment case, and he sometime yesterday he was told that that's not going to happen, and so we're going to be moving forward with the harassment case. So if you guys are interested, here in Moreno Valley, I believe MV1 is the room we're going to go to, maybe MV2, I don't know. At 8 a.m. May 31st, we will be doing a civil harassment lawsuit. This is going to be Fleming suing me and charging me with civil harassment. So if you're interested and you want to come see, what's going to happen in that case, it's going to be very interesting because it has no bearing to this case, but it sort of does a little bit, because I'm truly interested in seeing how she is going to prove this case. And I'm hopeful that I win in this case, because I don't believe she has a case. I believe it's more vindictive than anything. And I'm not stupid enough to go into a case like this without an attorney. I'm not stupid enough to do it. Small claims I can handle a little bit, I guess, but the only reason if it wasn't for the video, I don't think I could even handle that, because I'm not a lawyer. But something as serious as a civil harassment case, why is that so serious? Is the fact that in a civil harassment case, a lot could happen to me. Okay. I could lose my ability to go places, certain places. I could lose my ability to own or buy firearms, ammunition. I mean, I can lose my rights, all because I didn't do anything. And all because somebody thinks they know something that they know, and I know something that I know. And that's how serious it is. And, these are serious accusations, and I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried about it. And so when you get to situations that is beyond your control, I strongly advocate for you guys to get an attorney and hope for the best. But that's how serious these things are. It will restrict my freedom. It will restrict my Second Amendment right to do things. And that's how serious it is to me, which is why I must answer it. When I was in the DR, I was not going to let a default judgment go against me. I'm not going to do that. So it's very serious. And I think this case is very vindictive. It's a very vindictive case. She was triggered because she was sort of open to it, from what I understand. And she loses yesterday, and all bets are off. So, like I said, I'm going to be as open with you guys as much as I can, and we'll see where it goes from there. But for those of you guys that may know the history between Miss Fleming and myself, and you want to write a statement of her behavior or her conduct, I would appreciate it. But if you don't, the burden of proof is on her to make the case, and she's got to make that case. 2 years for COVID, I haven't spoken to this woman since she lost the mayor in 2016. So I don't know how she's going to prove consistent harassment for 10 years. As I left the case yesterday, she made a statement that I've been harassing her for 10 years. If COVID, I'm just going by COVID. If COVID was 2 years straight, how have I been harassing you for 10 years? As a political candidate, you are now open and subjected to being vetted. I just don't know. I do not run in the same circles as this woman. I don't do any of these things, but it's par for the course. So if you are a blogger out there, please get yourself a body camera, which you can get for like 15, 20 bucks off Amazon and have that second camera with you as you're recording at all times, especially when the police pull up on you, especially if the police pull up on you, have that body camera going. But that's in a nutshell the case. I did win. I'm not spiking the ball because it's a victory without a victory, because I have to go on to this next thing and defend myself, which is costing money. So it's a victory without a victory. And I'm going to give advice. If you're going to be doing community blogging and community networking, protect yourself. Just read up on your basic rights and what you can do and what you can't do. All right. I'm Donovan Sadiq, Inland Empire Informer. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. It's a beautiful day out there. Please be safe. It's going to get hotter. I've got my fruits all in my backyard. I've got to go pluck them and get them out of there because it's just a lot. All right, you guys, have a beautiful day. You guys be safe out there.